Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're back here with some more Battlefield 1. Today we're going to be doing something that I normally wouldn't do, but a lot of you guys have actually requested this. A lot of you want to see the available options and the gameplay options that you have inside of the menu that exists in Battlefield 1. This is on the Xbox One, so this is what you're going to see, you know, for the console version. Keep in mind, this is alpha, guys, so a lot of this stuff is unfinished. We don't see explanations for a lot of the content, and some of it may or may not be removed by full release. We're also going to take a look at the way that guns and gear work inside of the game. So we're actually going to look through all of the weapons and all of the equipment that are currently available in the alpha anyways. So, you know, give you guys a nice glimpse of the content that's available in the game. We'll take a look at the planes and some of the tank stuff as well, at least if we have the opportunity to do so. There's not really much there. You can just get an idea as to how the customization and loadout system is going to work for those things. But let's start by first taking a look at the sort of interface that we have here, the main menu screen. Obviously inspired by what they did with Star Wars Battlefront. If we press right trigger here, we can open up our friends menu. We can see who's online, who's offline. We can instantly invite people to our party, get people in a squad, and then join into a match together. Yes, they recognize that the whole battle log system wasn't the best way of doing things, and they've given us a straight up squad selection menu right inside of our game, much like Star Wars Battlefront. I really appreciate that. I think it's just a smart move. If we take a look at the rest of this stuff, you'll see that we'll eventually have access to our soldier. Hopefully, we'll be able to customize our soldier and our equipment outside of the battlefield, just like we've been able to do in the past. And if we go all the way to the left here, we have this sidebar that shows Battlefield 1, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 4, Career, Watch, News, and Store. So DICE kind of teased a new HUD interface, you know, a new way of accessing all of your favorite Battlefield elements, they said. And as we can see here, Hardline, Battlefield 4, possibly all of your career statistics across all of the Battlefield games, or maybe just the most recent two. I would love to see some of my statistics from Battlefield 3 if they still have those on record. They should. It's an EA account. Watch, potentially, you know, focus on streamers and YouTubers, and of course news in the store where you'll buy DLC and look at DLC announcements because it's DICE and EA, and that's what they do with Battlefield, unfortunately. So let's go right into our options menu here. There's actually quite a bit to look at, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be interested in some of this stuff. I'm really happy with DICE for doing this. A lot of this stuff is what they put into Battlefield 4 after launch, and it's now here seemingly going to be here day one with BF1. So we have a field of view slider on console. DICE, thank you. We're no different than the PC user. We want to be able to adjust our field of view. Quick tip for those of you guys who may have never dealt with the field of view slider, you don't want to just crank this thing all the way to the max. You'll get a sort of fisheye lens issue going on, and you'll also reduce the accuracy, or at least your vision, from a distance. So you want to find a sweet spot between having a nice wide field of view and having a great tight sight picture that doesn't decrease your ability to see at distances. You can also modify your vehicle field of view separately. I like to have this a little bit beefier than my on-foot field of view, just because vehicles can be a little bit disorienting sometimes, especially when you're in those biplanes. You can also toggle on ADS field of view. Basically, if you have it on, it will use the same field of view for your ADS. You can disable it. This is a great way to reduce any issues you might have with accuracy if you play with a really wide field of view. We also can modify motion blur, which is nice. Weapon depth of field on and off. And then, of course, we have, for my fine colorblind friends out there, we have colorblind options, including deuteranophobia, tritanopia, I should say, sorry, protanopia. As I said, deuteranopia. I don't know how to say those, but I do actually have friends in real life that are colorblind, so they would greatly appreciate that. Audio stuff, everything you would expect. We're not going to spend too much time on that. Gameplay, though. Gameplay. Lots of juicy gameplay stuff. We can disable the chat log, the inventory, hint placement. We can completely modify our crosshair with an RGB system. We also have the ability to disable a kill log, awards, pretty much everything that's going to show up on your screen. You can modify it or toggle it on and off in one way or another. I'm not sure what veteran mode is. Again, there's only a hint for this. I haven't really been able to figure out the difference between enabling and disabling this, but it's there, and hopefully one day we'll know what it actually means. You can reduce the visibility of your hit indicator, headshot color, the kill color, and the hit color. So you can change the color of your crosshair in different situations, and there's also one for damage-based shape. Again, not entirely sure what that means, but it's there. The minimap can only be customized when you're in-game. Oddly enough, you can change the texture opacity, as well as disable the option to have the minimap rotate with view. Have I mentioned that I love the minimap? It's really awesome. Here's my favorite set of icons, though. Now, you've been able to disable this stuff in the past and mess with it, but I'm not sure if it worked in the same way. Right now, you can change the opacity for your objective icon, your friendly soldier icons, your enemy soldier icons, and your gadget icons, which will be on the right bottom corner of your screen now. Here's the thing. The top three, the objective, the friendly, and the enemy soldier opacity, these opacities only take effect when you ADS. So they're going to be there 100% all the time, so you can see enemy soldiers and objectives at the greatest distance when you're just in normal movement. But as soon as you go into ADS mode, whether it's in a scope or iron sights or some sort of an optic, then these opacities will take place. So you could technically turn off enemy soldier opacity altogether, so you only have friendly enemies highlighted on the screen. So that way you know that anyone without a marker over their head in that situation is someone you're going to want to shoot. So I like that customization. You know, I've had plenty of issues where a friendly name tag has popped up over the head of somebody while I was sniping, so I didn't take the shot, and turns out it was just a weird line of sight issue, and I ended up not being able to take the shot, so I appreciate that. Advanced settings, we can toggle our weapon zoom, steady scope, soldier sprint. You can also disable plane chase camera roll when playing in third person. I know this is going to be great for some of you guys who get motion sick in situations like that. Really important stuff for controller users on the console side of things. Aim assist auto rotation and aim assist slowdown. In my opinion, you're going to want aim assist auto rotation off at all times because it will drag your weapon across the screen when someone runs in front of you when you're trying to snipe someone at long range. Aim assist slowdown is a must-have, especially when playing with a controller. And then we can disable the reload hint and the hit system. We also have network performance graphs that we can turn on, which is really nice. This is something that a lot of people are going to be interested in when they're testing the 30 Hz servers and the 60 Hz servers and all of that different stuff. Whether or not that will stay in place when the full game goes live, I do not know, but I know people are going to be happy about that existing. Last and not least, we've got our advanced settings under our controls. The basic and normal stuff you guys know about. I'm not going to look through that. But once again, DICE is giving us the ability to modify sensitivities for just about everything in the game individually, and I really appreciate this. So we've got iron sight sensitivity, which I've been meaning to turn down to about 75. Close range sensitivity, and it'll tell you exactly what they do, just like they did in Battlefield 4. So close range is a 1.5 to 2.5x scope, medium range 3x to 4x, and then long range is the 6x scope, which is going to be the largest zoom scope that you're going to have on these sniper rifles, I believe. We can also do plane control sensitivity, cavalry, that's right, them damn horses, you're going to have to tame them with sensitivity, tank sensitivity, all the different turret sensitivities. The hardest thing is figuring out which turrets these actually apply to, but once you do, it definitely makes a difference to lower some of these sensitivities to make it easier to use them on the field, and I really appreciate this. We can also do stuff like decouple aiming from terming, and we can mess around with the coefficient for uniform soldier aiming, basically adapting the sensitivity across different zoom levels. These are things that were available in Battlefield 4 that I'm just really happy to see back in BF1. Some of you guys may have not been aware of these, and I know a lot of you wanted to see them, so that was why I've taken the time to show you them. But let's go ahead and hop into an actual match here, and I'll show you guys the weapons and the gear, and how you'll be selecting them, how you'll be equipping your loadouts, at least, again, as we have seen here inside of the alpha. Alright guys, so I hopped into an empty server actually. You can see that we have the option to join squads, or in this case we're going to create the very first squad. So we've just created alpha. That's going to throw us into the spawn menu immediately, and you can see that we have down on the bottom our 4 selections: assault, medic, support, and scout. And then if we move back and forth here, we can choose between our heavy tanks, our light tanks, and our land ships, as well as attack planes, bombers, and fighters. And if we go ahead and hit Y, you know, we can customize what we would have. So we have specific pilot and vehicle loadouts. We talked about this in the past with this game. You can see that there's only one weapon right now available in the game, and that is the C96 carbine. You'll also be able to change the package for your vehicle. So right now this is ground support. I'm not sure what else they're going to have, but you can get an idea as how this works. It is a 50 kilograms times 4 HE bomb. And if we go ahead and hit bumper over here, we can look at the bomber. Again, we're kind of in the same situation. There's nothing really available for any of these vehicles apart from the stock stuff. They've kept it very bare bones here in the alpha, but nonetheless, that is how you'll go about customizing that. And the same thing, as I said, goes for the tanks. So if we want to take a quick look at those, we can see our package here. Squad support land ship. You know, we can carry our way over here. We'll have the same set of goods to mess around with. So let's look at the stuff that really matters, at least right now in the alpha, and that is the classes. We'll go ahead and start with the assault class. Primary weapon, we have a total of 6 different weapons right now. There are 2 variants for 3 different weapons. So the letters at the end of the weapon are going to essentially make you aware of the variant. This is something they need to work on, because right now you can barely see the weapon, your character's holding it. I like the idea of my character holding the weapon, but I would like to be able to actually see the weapon when I go to select it so I know what the hell it is. Right now, it's just based on my own personal knowledge. So we've got two variants of the Model 10 shotgun, and you'll notice the statistics changing. So one does more damage, one has more accuracy. You can see the fire rate, the fire modes, and the ammunition that will be available. We also have a really nice detailed curve for damage and bullet drop. I really like being able to see this stuff, and I know a lot of the hardcore meta nerds are really going to be stoked about this. You'll notice that the HU variant doesn't have that, and that's because it uses buckshot. The HE is actually a slug-based version of the shotgun, at least as I've been able to tell. We've got the MP18 coming in TR and AR variant. Again, you'll notice differences in accuracy if you look at the screen up there. So this version is going to be a little bit better at accuracy because it has an optic equipped to it, a very small one. And this one's using they're basically using two different versions of the iron sight. So you have like a trench version that's more for close quarters that has improved hip fire but reduced accuracy, and a more distant version. And the same can be said for the Automatico M1918 TR, and then we have the LI. So you're going to see that difference in hip fire and control as we go back and forth between the two. Again, they really need to do something to allow us to see the weapons more, but it is alpha right now. I imagine they're not too concerned about that. Backing out of that, the only two sidearms that exist in the game currently are the 1911 and the P08, but we can see a slew more, and that's the big thing to look at. There's going to be a lot of weapons in this game, but remember that we're going to have variants, so we're probably looking at 2 pairs for everything that's going to be slotted here. Nonetheless, I'm very excited to see some of the other weapons. Right now for gadgets, we have the anti-tank grenade and the AT rocket gun available for the assault class. The assault class is all about killing tanks. Honestly, that's why they have an SMG, and it's why I'm okay with them having such an efficient SMG, is that they really have to get in the mix to hunt down those tanks, light, medium, and heavy alike. They have a whole slew of grenades available to us in the game right now. So we've got the frag grenade, the gas grenade, which I particularly enjoy, impact grenades, incendiary grenades, mini grenades, smoke grenades, and light anti-tank grenades. So if you really want to be able to do the damage, you're basically getting a smaller version of that gadget that we have. This will allow you to do even more damage to tanks. It's not really good at anti-infantry, as you can see, but it still kicks butt. Now, you're probably asking me, Tony, how do we unlock this stuff? Well, right now in the alpha, there is no level requirement on any of the gear. It's all based on war bonds. War bonds are unlocked by leveling up, potentially by completing challenges. You just spend your war bonds. I hope this is what they do in the full game. I don't want to see a level requirement system. You guys have heard me say numerous times how I think it's trash and pointless. Just let us unlock what we want when we want. Why should one weapon be ranked higher than another? They should all be just as effective in different scenarios and in the hands of different players. Last, we've got the melee choices. So we have a hatchet and a shovel, and there seems to be at least 5 other ones available coming in the full game. Now, the cool thing about the melee weapons, and I hope they take this even further with some of those ones that aren't unlocked yet, is that some of them actually have extras. So you notice the shovel has no extras. You can see the damage that it does, its speed and its kill zone. It's good at slapping people in the face. The hatchet, on the other hand, can actually do damage to vehicles, it seems, or to, I'm sorry, not to vehicles, to, like, you know, house and doorways and things of that nature. And it can also tear down barbed wire. You'll see the vehicle indicator is actually in the middle. It does not do damage to vehicles. Don't let me get that confused. So there you have it. Let's look at the weapons for the rest of the other classes in the gear. So our medic here has a very interesting selection of semi-automatic and automatic rifles. So we've got the Cell Regati coming in 2 different variants. It is toggle fire, so you can do single fire or automatic. You're going to notice the differences here, the AR version and the FA version, which has less accuracy. I think a lot of this stuff is still in alpha because it's weird to see the difference here and just see the accuracy drop off. There's no real benefit to using the FA version. It's going to be more so player choice, and I don't think you should be negated in accuracy simply for player choice. So we'll see how that goes. We've got the M1907 SL, which comes in TR and AU variants. One version is single fire that has improved hip fire. One version is automatic that has reduced hip fire and better control. Again, I think a lot of this stuff is really alpha. There's some weird things going on there, but nonetheless, there you have it. Last on the list, and probably my favorite, is the Mondragon, or Mondragon, however you want to say it, which comes in AR and MA version. The MA version is the marksman version, which actually has a very, very nice scope on it. It's going to be a lower zoom scope. We're not talking 6x. I think we're sitting at maybe a 2.5 or a 3x. I'm not entirely positive. It'll be nice if they gave us details like that at some point in time. But there you have it, the 2 different versions of that Mondragon. As I said, same thing with the pistols. You're going to see that we have a bandage pouch and a medical syringe, allowing us to heal people and throw down heals. Let's make our way over to the support class. Easily my favorite class in the game. This is your good old light machine gunner. Look at that wonderful metal helmet that he's got going on / face mask thing. He has the Lewis gun, which has the flat top magazine on it, which is really cool looking gun. I really like this thing. It comes in 2 variants, the SU and the AR. You'll notice the difference between the two here. So the SU actually has a weird triangular prototype red dot on it. It's got great accuracy, great control. It has a 97 round magazine, and it comes with 194 additional rounds. If you drop down to the AR version, we've got now an iron sight that has reduced accuracy, reduced control, and reduced ammunition. Again, some weird things going on right now, but I'm just giving you guys a look at the different variants and the weapons as they exist in the alpha. The M1909 Bene Merce LI and GU. So you have a scoped version, or you have an iron sight version, I should say, and a scope version. That's the only difference here. This is a big, slow-firing, strip-fed LMG that is all about accuracy and range. It's super powerful, and I really, really like it. Last on the list, we've got the Madsen MG, which comes in TR, or I think this is the trench variant, and LI, which I assume is light infantry. I should make point of that. So the light infantry version is going to see slightly increased accuracy and control at the cost of hipfire, and the trench version is great at hip firing, which makes sense for a trench-based weapon. They both have the same ammunition and fire mode, though. Of course, we're going to have an ammo crate, as well as our gadget here, which is the tripwire bomb. And if we toggle over, last and definitely not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Scout. So let's start all the way at the top. We have the Russian 1895, which comes in trench and marksman variants. This is a lever-action rifle. Probably one of the more harder rifles to use in the game for the Scout class. I have struggled with this rifle deeply. It has high damage, and if we look at the marksman variant, super good accuracy, obviously a slower rate of fire, but it's a powerful weapon. There's no doubt about that. I'm just awful at it, and it has really big bullet drop-off, even with the marksman version. The trench version is more close quarters, so we're looking at reduced damage, you've got a higher fire rate, and you see we get a little bit more ammunition to carry around. Now, if we scroll on down, we have the Gerwar 98 in 2 variants, the Sharpshooter and the Marksman. So this is 2 scope variants of the Gerwar. The Sharpshooter is a less magnified scope, and the Marksman, I believe, is the 6X. So this is that golden scope that you've seen in a lot of gameplay. Super high zoom, you know, really great for long distance engagements. You'll notice there's no actual difference between them in terms of statistics, though. Last on the list is the SMLE MK3, which comes in Sharpshooter and Carbine. So the Carbine is straight up iron sights. You've got just the flip up iron sight, that's all it is, and the Sharpshooter variant is going to give you, again, a low zoom scope optic. You'll notice the hip fire improves with the lower zoom scope in this instance, but that's just about it. So you kind of got to pick and choose whatever you want. I really have fallen in love with the SMLE in terms of using it for iron sights. Super high damage, but you'll notice that and we're also going to get 10 rounds. That's the big thing about this. With that iron sight variant, we've got a much larger magazine because we're not dealing with the scope. So pretty freaking cool. On top of that, for gadgets, we've got our flare gun, which allows us to shoot a flare in the air, which can reveal enemies in the vicinity. And we've got K-bullets. I don't know what they're going to do with K-bullets. I'm going to be honest, guys. They're weird. They're meant to pierce multiple targets, essentially. I like the idea of them, but I haven't found myself using them yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how people utilize them in the full game. That wraps it up, though, guys. You'll notice that there are no customization options for the optics, and DICE has already said they're going to be doing variants. So, you know, when we look at our selection here for our Assault class, you're not going to be able to switch out the optics. This isn't, you know, a modern-day rifle system where you've got rails all over the place. You're not throwing on foregrips. You will, however, be able to modify the weapon, and this is all they're telling us right now. You will be able to customize your weapons to adapt it to your playstyle. Whether you'd like to support your team from afar or up close and personal, you'll be able to modify your arsenal to your preferences, as well as give it a distinct look. So, I'm so confused. Like, are we going to have variants, and then we're going to have scopes and sights? You know, that's what I'm saying. It seems like they've contradicted themselves. I haven't, you know, really hunted down any concrete confirmation from them right now, but just know that you will be able to customize your weapons in one way or another, both visually and seemingly also from a usability perspective. Whether that's, you know, different sight pictures, different scope types, I don't know. They're being very hush-hush on that. I am very much looking forward to seeing how they put that all together. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A really deep dive at everything that is currently available in the alpha. Hopefully, you got what you were looking for out of it. I'm gonna go wander this map completely alone, all alone, with no one around. If there's any other questions you had for me, feel free to throw them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.